Live. What's up, everybody? Happy Sunday morning, evening, whatever you want to call it. I am joined today, as always, literally, I think, from the beginning, by Pepe Mache over here, my man, the dinosaur head, the paper mache dinosaur head, if you will. Now, folks, I've kind of discussed it a bit before. Getting into the start of the stream is always a little bit clunky because whenever I hit start streaming, it doesn't actually. It has to kind of kick in a little bit, and it's got some reads of data and shit on the screen. I can kind of tell when it starts roughly, but man, I just opened my beer and I was like, okay, I hope it's time to go. So, cheers to anybody here today, kind of kicking it. Today is going to be a pretty cool stream. Hopefully my levels are all right. I want to adjust that stuff, or address. I've already been adjusting it all morning. I want to address that stuff really quickly because I've been kind of messing with my levels today since I'm doing something a bit different, which we'll kind of get into that in a moment. Yeah, man, I'm doing some different stuff with the audio today, so I kind of had to do some things differently and take some cuts here and there and what have you, and it's not the best the way I have it set up now, but it is, and it is pretty sick, honestly. What I'm talking about is I have a guitar right here, if you can see that, and I'm going to be playing that shit today. You can't see my whole amp and my pedals and my setup over here, but what you're going to be hearing today is actually my mic'd up amp that I played through and that I did this record with, the Centrifuge, by my solo indie project, The Bedbugs. That's what we've been kind of going over for fucking 8 weeks or something now, on and off. Y'all should be getting with the program at this point. The Centrifuge, I played this whole album on this guitar, this amp that I have, these pedals that I have. This is all the equipment that I used. I mean, so this is it. You know, I'm not DIing into a box or something that sounds like shit. I'm setting up my own stuff with a real mic that sounds like shit, so much cooler. So I'm gonna be doing that. I do notice, and I think you guys might have too by now, that if you look over my shoulder here, wait, where is it? It's right there. Pepe's actually got something in his mouth for me, which we know by past events that anytime that happens, anytime that this dude has something in his mouth for me, it's pretty sick. It's been pretty nice. So we're going to check that out before I actually get into playing the song today. Let me just kind of shuffle around. Don't mind me. I'm just sort of adding the background noise, if you will, while I talk here. One funny thing I ran into recently, Twitch emailed me, and it was like an update of just reminding, I guess, streamers of DMCA striking rules and stuff. But when I read that email recently, I thought, the way it was worded at first, I thought I was getting clapped for being DMCA'd. And I was like, how the fuck? Because all I've done on this stream so far is play my music. I'm almost kind of, I want Twitch to try me. I want them to try and DMCA strike me or something for my own music. Because you know how fucking great that would be? And how much I could clap back on them? I don't know, I guess I'm speaking out of slight spite right now for the whole DMCA thing, because that kind of shit's lame. I guess there's a lot to go into it. I can't just say that my whole blanket opinion on the DMCA strike stuff is lame. But it's definitely made life harder for anybody that affects, whether it's like streamers and people using that content or the musicians themselves. The DMCA strikes themselves have made life harder a bit, I think. Oh shit, my speakers have been on this whole time. Hopefully my echo isn't, or my mic isn't echoing a bunch. I had my audio going through my big speakers just now for a little bit, apparently. Oops. So if things sounded weird and doubled up now, they sound better. But it makes it hard for both sides of the token, where if you're somebody that's appreciative of the DMCA striking rules, then it makes your life easier, but it makes it harder for the streamers who might not be trying to just necessarily abuse your content and make money off it. It might literally be like a thing like this, where like I like to have some noise sometimes behind me talking, whatever. Music and audio and that venue of creation is such a palatable thing with streaming that it's used all the time. So if you're somebody who's for that stuff, it sucks for the streamers who may not be necessarily trying to steal your stuff, I guess. On the flip side of the token, if you're someone like me who doesn't give a shit and would love for people to stream with your music on, and why the fuck else would I stream my own stuff? I like doing that myself too. It might make it hard for if that shit ever kicks in when you don't want it to, but also I don't know how the rules work on that super well for, I mean, I've read some books and done some educating of, to myself for that kind of stuff, because I've had to know at least a little bit of that since I've put out so much music and worried before about, like, copyright laws and stuff. Like, how does that work, you know? And essentially, from my basic understanding of it, is that if you don't put into place any copyright laws on your stuff and any proof of ownership on your stuff when you make it, it's still considered yours because you made it and it's original to you. So you can make money off it and you can benefit from it. You know, selling records, streaming plays, YouTube views on your videos, things like that. But then if it ever goes to court or if anything legal ever comes up, you don't have any proof of copyright ownership aside from it just being an original song and it being put into existence by you, which I feel like is enough, but you don't have any proof of that in writing, so to speak, and so legally you can't do much. And maybe things like, if I didn't copyright this album, people would be able to use it on their stream, and if I was an asshole and wanted them not to, I don't think I could fight back against that because I didn't have copyright laws on my music. I think is how that all works. So you can benefit from your own creations and your own music when it's just you benefiting, and it's easy. But if it gets in anybody else's way of them benefiting, or of you not wanting them to benefit off your stuff, or whatever kind of walls you might hit, if you don't actually enact any copyright on your material physically, it doesn't matter. They can use it too, I think, although it's not theirs still, but they're allowed to use it, right? I think that's how that stuff goes from what I've read and understood, and it's just weird, man. I have sitting somewhere, now that I think about it, the physical piece of mail for when I copywrote this album in particular. I have it in my room somewhere. It's like literally, it's cool, man. I had to pay some money for it, which sucked, but it's in writing of like, this album by this artist, track 1, da-da-da, track 2, and it's like it literally says like, these are fucking yours, dude, which is a cool feeling. So copyright your music if you can, but really, I mean, just make your shit, dude. I don't know, just make your shit, use your shit. Let's look at what's in this guy's mouth, okay, because it looks pretty fucking sick and I gotta take a peek. Alright, let's see what he's got. Also, I'm gonna drink a little beer. It's a little stuck. I don't think he thought very much about this whenever he was jamming it down his gullet. Ooh! 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 Oh no, it's the light. No, the light is killing it. Oh! You guys fucking see this? It's still in the plastic even. Now, the seal's broken. I think that may have been from his giant teeth. Seal is broken. This is fucking Lemon Demon. His last album that he put out in 2016, Spirit. Look, I'm like one of these like Jay Leno types or something that. Yeah, today on the show with their debut record. Blah, 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 blah. Look, this is an awesome album, man. You can't see it super well because my fucking computer screen glare is making it impossible. Lemon Demon, Spirit Phone. Go fucking listen to this album, dude. This is one of the coolest albums of all fucking time, dude. This is like, basically, Lemon Demon is one guy, Neil Cicierega, writes all the music himself, records it, performs it, produces it. This is all him. I mean, it's just him. It's just Neil Cicierega. who is Lemon Demon, who is the guy that did the. I'm gonna see if this can sit here all nice and pretty. He did the Potter Puppet Pals on YouTube back in the, I think in the thousands or something. I don't know. That got huge apparently and millions and millions and millions of views or whatever. I never really watched that stuff a lot. Same for the Ultimate Showdown of Ultimate Destiny, I think was the video and the song that he did that also got like really critically acclaimed. The dude's a madman. He's a genius. He grew up messing around on his dad's keyboards on their computers and loved video games, and a life was born of pioneering so many things for the internet world to benefit off of. And that guy fucking amazes me, man. I mean, just the quality of his work, and it's all him. It's insane. This album is awesome, man. This is a double LP, too. It's got, like, bonus tracks on it. Go fucking check out this album. Go check out Lemon Demon, man. When this album came out in 2016, I was not around in the Lemon Demon sphere yet. I had heard of his Ultimate Showdown of Ultimate Destiny when I was a kid. I hadn't even heard of the Potter Puppet Pals, but apparently all that shit, and he did so much for, like, Brody Quest, if anyone knows what that is, the Adrian Brody song that apparently also was huge, and I didn't even know it. Like, he did stuff I was aware of as a kid, but then he even did stuff around that where obviously impacted more generations of people than just me. He did a lot of stuff around that, but I found this guy, other than being a kid and just hearing it and honestly not liking, like, the Ultimate Showdown a lot. I didn't really like it. I thought the video was kind of cute, and I was like, ha ha ha, but whatever. I was listening to people like Bill Wirtz and that kind of thing, and in kind of this autoplay radio, artists like him were playing, and this guy, this album, the opening track, Lifetime Achievement Award, came up, and I was like, what the fuck is this? This is one guy. Like, I knew it had to be. I just knew it had to be. I have a good ear for telling when... I feel like I have a good ear for telling when it's just one guy that's doing the fucking music, because that's, like, all the stuff I listen to, and you can just tell. Like, it's like they just press a button that's like, yup, like, you know. I don't know. I heard it, and I was like, this is one guy. I have to know who this is. And I started listening to this album and some of his newer stuff. Although he hasn't done anything in a bit. He himself, under his own name, has, but under the name of Lemon Demon, which is where I more appreciate his music and vibe with it myself. Although just the Neil Cicierega stuff is also awesome, and go check that out. He hasn't done anything in a while, but for me it was new when I found this, and I think the album was like 2 years or something, 3 years maybe old. It was like 2018, 2019, I think, when I found him. This is awesome. I could sit here and fucking talk about him all day, but I found that music and I was like, whoa, got enthralled, and then found out later who he was and all that shit, and I was like, dude, this is that guy. The same thing happened for me for Bill Wirtz. Bill Wirtz was a guy who did the history of the world and the history of blah 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 videos, all that stuff. Again, widely regarded trend-setting shit on YouTube back in the day whenever it came out. Millions and millions and millions of views and shit. But Bill Wirtz was the same way, man. Like, I also found him by chance, and his music just enthralled me, and I was like, what the fuck is this? I have to know. And then when I listened and found out more about him, oh, that's the motherfucker that years ago when I was a kid did the history of the blah 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 videos on YouTube. I think he did the history of the world, and then the history of just like China, I think, or something like that. There was 2 or 3 videos he did that were like that. And before that and after that, there was so many trend-setting things too that both these guys did that I'm just not mentioning, but those are kind of the noteworthy, like, people would know this if you were my age and grew up watching YouTube or whatever, right? These motherfuckers, man, they're just so insanely talented, and they just write and produce and make all their shit themselves. So, I don't know why Pepe had a copy of this fucking double LP in his mouth, but I think I'm gonna be digging around in his mouth more often. This is fucking insane. In fact, let's get a look at one of these beautiful fucking vinyl before I put it away. Oh my gosh, man. The telephone. Oh, hold on. Let me just get it out before I even show you the middle. You guys gotta. You have to absorb this, man. See if I can get it without the glare. Oh my gosh. My camera is slightly auto adjusting and stuff. I did not set up my lighting very well for today. And a lot of the autofocus and auto lighting stuff, which I hate, is on. Because then it does weird things with, I don't know, just the blurriness and the colors changing as I'm pushing in and out with this vinyl. But look at this shit, man. Look at this shit. Look at that telephone, that fucking old rotary phone shit. With, I'm pretty sure, I have to get a look myself now. I think there's like an eyeball in the middle of that. Yeah, that's a fucking eyeball. Fucking wide open. And then it's got, I mean, just look. Just look at that shit, dude. And I wish you guys could really see the effect of, like, not just a splatter on the vinyl, but the way that, like, it has dimensions. I mean, vinyl, the way it's made, they kind of layer this shit in, I suppose, as they're going and making the vinyl, and you can, like, tell there's, like, layers of that white splatter, not just, like, a flat matte on the front kind of thing. Like, it's, oh my gosh. Go fucking listen to Lemon Demon, this album. Go listen to Bill Wirtz. Go listen to, I mean, I will literally, for probably the rest of my fucking life, talk about the same handful of guys. Oops, I'm slapping things. Bill Wirtz. Jazz Emu is one of the guys that's been coming out in the past, I believe, 2 years or so, something like that. Insane. Really cool guy from the UK. Really cool guy. Has helped me a lot with just me talking to him about certain stuff. Recording and things like that, and cameras and good bands to listen to, and just all sorts of things. This is not wanting to go back in the same way. Here we go. But, man, you gotta find... Oh my god, I suck at this. You gotta find some good music that you care about, right? I mean, some art, some something. It doesn't have to be music. I really don't care what you do. I know that I gotta have a little bit of a fix of something good. This is still not going in. This shit is the fix. I mean, this shit for me is the fix. The solo guys, the solo artists that do everything else, that's the fix. So, if you're like me and you want a good fix, Lemon Demon, Spirit Phone, go check that shit out, man. Now, folks, the part that I've been dreading, the song that you're hearing right now is actually the one that we're going to look at today. I'm dreading this because, let me pause for a moment. I have to play this. I have not played any of these songs in a long time. The other night, I was miking up my amp over here. I was rehearsing just a bit, playing some guitar. The guitar and the song itself, not too bad. I mean, all of the stuff in general is not too bad. I wrote it, so of course I should be able to play it. I can do that. Today, the advent of, oh, I could sing too. I have a microphone in front of my face. That kind of happened. And so with the past, 30 minutes to an hour before the stream, I was kind of testing sound mostly, but sort of trying to practice singing the vocals too. What I found out is I forget a lot of the words as I go, and then that makes me fuck up the guitar part. So I am going to pull up the lyrics. Try not to use them. We'll see. We'll see. So I want to just kind of get into this with you guys and see what the fuck happens, man. This is something that I haven't done on the stream yet that I've been wanting to. I've played a little drums before, just kind of jamming to see how it sounds and to show you guys what it will sound like. The thing about OBS is, and I have to look into this more, the thing that's different with my audio this time, I have a Focusrite audio interface that has I think 8 inputs for mics. And the way that OBS works, it'll only pick up audio from 2 of those inputs at a time. And you can't even pick the inputs that you want. It's analog 1 and 2, analog 3 and 4, 5 and 6, or 7 and 8. So I just picked analog 1 and 2. The thing about this mic, the Shure SM7B, which is it doesn't necessarily need phantom power as long as you have a good preamp. But if you can put, in the Focusrite itself, the audio interface is a good enough preamp to make it sound like this on its own. But what I've done before is I've also run it through another preamp, a cloud lifter that lifts its decibels without adding a lot of noise and a lot of fuzz and harsh frequencies. So I'm running through the cloud lifter to make this mic louder but also sounding better at the same time. And to you guys, you might not even like louder, like it's loud enough. What does that even mean? All the levels I have to set and the things I have to worry about, it's kind of just the shit that I'm fucking with. If you've ever done any of that before, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And I have to crank this mic much louder now because I'm not going through the cloud, and it doesn't sound as good. It still sounds fine, I think, hopefully. But the thing that's different is I have to choose analog 1 and 2 for my audio, and the other mic that I'm using has to be in 2 because this one's in 1. My other mic for my guitar amp is in input 2. So I put those there. That's fine. What's the problem? Why can't I go about usual? The problem is my phantom power on my Focusrite is turned on in channels of 4 at a time, right? So I can hit a button and say give phantom power to inputs 1 through 4 or inputs 5 through 8. And that's no problem, really. I could still give this mic phantom power, but what that's going to do then is it gives my other mic phantom power, which doesn't need phantom power. And that's going to overpower that mic, and I'm pretty sure that's what blows your fucking mics out, bro. So I'm good on that. So what I have to do is I've got no phantom power. I'm just cranking my levels. So maybe things sound a little bit different in volume today. Maybe they sound a little bit different in quality, a little bit fuzzier, a little bit more noise in the mics. And especially when I crank on this guitar amp, this thing's fucking loud, and I don't have distortion necessarily going when I play the bedbug stuff, but I have a lot of overdrive. The amp is hot as fuck, and it's pretty loud sitting next to me just in the room. It's going to be at least like that loud at all times. So that's a thing, but it's cool. So, enough stupid, shitty audio talk, because that's probably not even cool for the people that do know what I'm talking about. Who really gives a shit? What is cool is playing some music. So I'm going to attempt. What I did mess around with was like different camera angles. The other night I was kind of messing with different camera angles a bit. It's a lot to just move my shitty camera around when I'm like in the middle of streaming. So I'm going to do this sitting, see how it looks, see how it goes, see how it sounds. My levels aren't perfect, guys. The guitar or my vocals might be louder or quieter than the song you're hearing. Man, I don't fucking know. It's going to be okay, though. It's pretty cool. So let's give that a shot. I'm going to try. I need a little more beer first. I'm going to try for a moment. Let me press play on this music again, because I need a break for a second, okay? Not a real break, but I need a second here. Just give me a moment to have a little beer and take a little hit of my vape, and I think I'm going to try to do this. This is also, I think I already said this actually, my lighting is not the best today. I did not fuck with any of that, and my camera has a lot of its auto adjustments on because I have to turn those off every time I fucking turn on OBS. I don't know why. Anyway, lighting's not the best, sound's not the best today, but we're having fun, we're kicking it. Enjoy a little bit of I Woke Up Dead while I pregame some. Folks, this is going to be probably pretty rough, probably pretty harsh, but this should be a good time. Hey, if nothing else, you're going to watch me fuck up one of my songs I haven't played in a long time. And to be honest, I keep saying I haven't played them in a while, as if it's some kind of lean on, but even if I played them frequently, I'd still probably fuck up. I'm bad at remembering lyrics on the fly. There's so many different devices and tricks you can use to help yourself remember that stuff, but I just suck at it. The guitar is a lot easier for me. I'm an instrumentalist by, like, blood, I guess you could say. I've done that since I was a kid. Excuse me. So I think playing the instrument is going to be easier. The vocals, not as much. Okay. Let's do this, man. Enough fucking talking about it. Let's go. All right. We're going to get turned up here, folks. Let's fucking hit it. I'm going to suck ass. Let me make sure my lyrics are pulled up here, too. Well, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's go. Mom and Dad, I'm feeling bad. I could use a pick-me-up. Sneak around your bed. Why am I so bad? I just need that nicotine lung. Here we fucking go, dude. Holy shit. Awakening some foreign land, one built not of earthly tree or sand, more like it's just made of fleece and ash, concocted only of things in the dreams I shed. So, 1 foot in, 1 foot out, trudge on what I sell in the senses and all alone. Need somewhere to be now. Parlay or lotto, lay up, land, I'll travel it. My favorite tiger, she is happening. I'm looking, but I let the lust keep me moving. Ammonia, acetone, and arsenic. That's where I left, man. It says, as a stout stagnant silhouette seems to subservient. In his hand, a potion rests, giving way only to its effervescence. So I set the glass on my lips, tilt back my head and steadily swung it. I came and when I smelled the scents, I rustled around a bit. I drank the potion, I ate the dirt, and then fell ill. Well, not too shabby, folks. I think I fucked up starting a lyric or two and a chord or two, but yeah, pretty fun, man. Pretty sick. So that's Paper Tiger. The idea behind the song is, man, it's pretty much a sort of rip. I was literally just talking to my roommate too before I started streaming about this because I just thought it was so cool. I've always thought this was cool. It's like my own bizarre, demented, almost like who am I thinking of right now? What's his damn name? Can't. It's like on the tip of my tongue. I'm not gonna be able to think of it. But it's like my own demented version of. There's. I really wish I could remember. Anyway, there's like a demented version. Basically, this is my demented version of. What the hell is his name? I am upset right now. Pretty much like I'm about to just look this up on the side, y'all. I have to. I must do this. Anyway, I'll stop just sitting on what I'm saying. It's basically my own demented version of the story of Over the Garden Wall. So if anybody knows that series or anything, that short series, it's amazing. Tim fucking Burton. Why could I not think of fucking Tim Burton's name? That's so stupid. I like to do a lot of these like almost kind of Tim Burton-y, like bizarre twists on stories and fantasy and things that already exist. I've just got an affinity for that. I love doing that. So anyway, my millions and millions of fucking ums, ahs, and sitting there forever thinking and trying to struggle through speaking. Tim Burton. I like to do a lot of my kind of own Tim Burton-y sort of like demented, bizarre twists on things that are still like cheeky and shit like that. And Over the Garden Wall is a short series, an animated short series that is amazing that all of you should fucking watch. I've seen it several times through just because I love it so much. But I took that idea of basically what happens in that story, and I won't spoil it a bunch or anything, and I won't say what connects, because if you've seen it, you know. If you haven't seen it, I don't want to spoil it. Go fucking watch it. Knowing this shit is not going to spoil anything, because I'm not going to tell you what parts are or aren't connected. But this is like my demented version of that kind of thing. And it basically starts with... I'm just going to pause this stuff. It basically starts with, in the lyrics here, well, let's talk about, I don't think this one had art for it. I don't think this is one of the songs on the album that I think, oh no, it did. How could I have forgotten this? Before I get into the lyrics, let's talk about this guy. We'll come back. That's me. That's so fucking cool, man. Let me see if I can get pulled up on the side. Something for... you guys too. This was a picture. So I had a friend named Shelby that helped me with this. I wanted to do, for one of the pieces of art for one of the tracks on this album, I really, really wanted to do some kind of practical effects makeup work. This was originally intended to be, this is one of the characters in the story that I have kind of put together for the song. It was originally meant to be two people and not just the one guy. And I was going to do a bit of a photo shoot. And I ended up just doing this by myself. The other person involved, I believe at the time, was even whenever she was around having her baby, I think. yeah, anyway, so I went on ahead and I got with Shelby and I did this alone. If anyone is curious, oh my god, this is so much cooler to see it without the effects of the photo. But this is the makeup she did on me. So I told her basically, um, I'll talk about the lyrics in a moment, but there's this kind of spectrally figure, and I kind of told her I want it to be like a sort of molding and combination of like Voldemort and like a zombie, like old like George A. Romero, just gray faced zombie, like something really simple, something really plain but powerful for what I was trying to do. Or maybe powerful is not the right word, though I think it did the job. Um, I liked it as a simpler thing. I didn't want complicated makeup. Um, and even the pretty much the whole face is sort of what I had in mind. Besides these cuts on my face, I believe some kind of damage to the face was something we talked about. But I think the specific cuts like that were kind of her idea, and she did this really basic kind of application of like tissue and foundation, I think, or concealer or something, and then she painted it up a little bit with the red. I mean, there's just cool stuff kind of going on here. Um, I just wanted something simple and cool. I mean, it just makes me think of being in like an old 50s to 70s, maybe even some 80s stuff, horror movie that had like practical effects that, you know, looking at some of the stuff anyway, and stuff that was reminiscent of this. It's obviously not the hardest thing in the world to do, but is it effective for what you're trying to do? Yeah, I don't know. I just thought it was cool. Um, yeah, man, that was me sitting in her apartment, just sitting there so stoked, like, fucking look at me right now, dude. This is amazing. Um, yeah, that's cool, man. So, anyway, that's the effect that we went for. We went outside and took a few photos. The jar in my hand is a potion that you hear about in the story. What we did there was we literally, I think, put like a bunch of soap and a bunch of water and a bunch of maybe like green food coloring or something like that, also to add some green to it. It wasn't much of anything, but I wanted this big, frothy, gross looking potion, and yeah, just that was what came up. So this is one of the characters in the story. So the lyrics are, and the story goes, and it's all being spoken from the narrator's point of view, who's like a child. Mom and Dad, I'm feeling bad. I could use a pick-me-up. Sneaking around your bed, why am I so bad? Yep, I rhymed bad with bad. I just need that nicotine lung. So this is pretty much a kid that's saying, Mom and Dad, you guys are asleep, and I'm just gonna sneak around in your room and find your cigarettes, because I want to smoke a cigarette. And so this kid's a bad kid, right? He smokes cigarettes. Basically, the idea, the layout of this house that he's in, that's kind of unspoken about, is that it's multiple stories, and he's pretty high up, and there's some ties to the over the garden wall thing. Again, I'm not bringing in spoilers or whatever, but there's some ties to it in that this house is multiple stories tall, and what you don't know, what's kind of implied, and if you know the story that this is connected to over the garden wall, there's some threads there you can see. And not a lot of it's really talked about in the lyrics, but what's going on is this kid is like several stories up in this house. He's sneaking around in his parents' room for a cigarette. He finds them and he goes to his balcony, window, and sits up there to smoke a cigarette. Lights the cigarette. Again, like none of that's really explained in the lyrics. It's just given. You'd get it if you got it. And you've seen Over the Garden Wall too. There's some parts of it that's like it's kind of a setup that's not really there, but it is. I don't know how to say it. I like doing the thing where I don't explain things sometimes. I mean, I literally love doing that, like putting elements of the story in there that you have to figure out. And if you don't, then it doesn't matter. It doesn't detract from the story. But if you do know these elements, then it's like, oh, whoa, cool. So, he does that, and we'll kind of come back to what happens, but after he lights the cigarette, we go on to the next stanza here. Awaken in some foreign land, one built not of earthly tree or sand, more like it's just made of fleece and ash. The fleece and ash thing is kind of like contextual and lyrical tie-ins to earlier stuff in the album. So I've talked a lot about the album before and how it's not a concept album, and there's sort of this somewhat overarching similarity in each song is a different story, but they all kind of share ties. This is one of those ties. The fleece and ash thing, big tie. Concocted only of things and the dreams I shed. Let me go back. More like it's just made of fleece and ash, concocted only of things and the dreams I shed. So 1 foot in, 1 foot out, trudge onward, assailing the senses, all alone about. So there he's kind of talking about, whoa, I was just hitting a cigarette. Now I'm in some, like, fantasy land, and this is literally a land that is, like, not of Earth. Like, just walking around, you can tell by the way the land is built, what it's made of, the things he's seeing, things he has never seen before. This is literally a dream world. Like, this is not of Earth. This is of dreams. And he's just alone, and he's going through the world. He's got to figure it out. Then it says, I need somewhere to be now. And then it continues, by lane or lot or lay of land, I'll travel it. My paper tiger, she is happening. Yes, she is. By way of blood, I let the lust keep me moving, ammonia, acetone, and arsenic. If you haven't noticed by now, there's kind of these themes of the paper tiger, the ammonia, acetone, and arsenic especially is a big, like, obvious nod at it. The paper tiger is this kid's hallucination of what cigarettes are to him, mentally, like this image of what cigarettes are to him in his life. I need these, and they are what carry me forward. Not that I'm making an observation necessarily on cigarettes. This is more of an over the garden wall thing, and more of a I'm tied to a substance kind of thing. I don't give a shit about cigarettes, but that's not the point of me writing about cigarettes in the song. I mean, I fucking hate cigarettes, but that's not the point. I mean, I think they're gross, but I don't give a shit if somebody smokes them. I'm not going to write a song standing on smoking cigarettes. That's not the point of the song, but that's kind of what the venue of these other things is being transported through. The paper tiger is, this kid's hallucinating. He's in a different world now, right? And he doesn't know this that I'm talking about. He doesn't know, oh, the paper tiger is my cigarette addiction, and I'm chasing it through the world, but he's literally going through this fantasy world, seeing hallucinations and visions of a paper tiger, like a paper mache, like folded up, like really nice, neat little tiger that could fit in the palm of your hand. And it's like this little sprite that's carrying him through this fantasy world, and he's just like, what the fuck is going on? And that ammonia, acetone, and arsenic line at the end is kind of the subconscious recognition of the character's body and mind, not so much him being like, oh, this is like cigarette hallucinations, but his body subconsciously is telling him. I mean, just like if I was to sit here and drag on a cigarette and burn it down in 2 seconds in front of you guys, I'd probably get sick because I fucking hate those things. And my body would start, I mean, I would know it, but my body would start giving me signs too of, the cigarette did this, like you're getting sick at your stomach and the taste of smoke on your breath, and now you're getting a headache, and all you can think about mentally too is the cigarette, and like it's like, oh shit, I feel like shit, whatever. So that's the kind of reaction. It's not like the character is going, oh, ammonia, acetone, arsenic, these are all ingredients in cigarettes, and now I know that this is all a cigarette hallucination. Like, no, it's not that to him. It's sort of this recognition of his self. His self as a separate kind of entity is making this recognition. It's in the same way that you might get into something, like let's say you get into a relationship where it's toxic to you, but you only know that like subconsciously, that you're like miserable around this person, but you feel like you need them. So in your mind, as you You're like, I need this person. But in your subconscious mind, as the separate entity in the back is like, this is toxic as fuck, and you're just trying to come to terms with that. That's kind of almost the same connection, that the ammonia, acetone, and arsenic. It's like a subconscious nod at what's happening, but it's not the character actually realizing this is a cigarette hallucination or whatever. The cigarette hallucination bit will make more sense by the end as well. Like, why is this kid hallucinating so bad just on a cigarette? I mean, it could just be that even, but there's more to it. So, then it continues. Thus where I left, failing common sense, as a stout stagnant silhouette seems to so surface, and in his hand a potion rest, there's said potion from the picture, giving way only to its effervescence. I set the glass upon my lips, tilt back my head, and then steadily swallowed it. That part, is him kind of talking about, okay, we go from the ammonia, acetone, and arsenic, this kind of subconscious realization of, we're in trouble here, these are things happening, to, okay, snapping back to consciousness, right where I left, failing all common sense. This world around me, I don't know what any of these materials are around me, any of these figures, any of these shapes, any of these things I'm seeing. This is all a different world, so there's no common sense here. A stout, stagnant silhouette seems to so surface. There's also a shit ton of alliteration in this song. I love it. That is like one of my favorite devices. Stout, stagnant silhouette seems to so surface. The stout, stagnant silhouette that has this potion that this kid's talking about is that character I'm playing there in that picture. In his hand, a potion rest. That's the potion, giving way only to its effervescence, the bubbly nastiness of it all. That's kind of why we did a lot of that soapy kind of foamy shit at the top. He set the glass upon his lips, and he tilted his head back and steadily swallowed it. He drank the potion. So he's continuing following this paper tiger through this almost like Alice in Wonderland, like bizarro world, and this little sprite that's just leading him on, and he's not really sure what's happening. He's just kind of being led to follow it. And then this figure, bam, enter me, that comes out of the woods and is like, hey kid, this potion right here, this is going to help you. It's not really clear if he even says anything to the kid. If he says it's going to help you get home, it's going to take away all your pain, it's going to, maybe he doesn't say anything at all. Like, whatever, like, this kid just literally sees this figure and is, like, drawn to take the potion. He just takes it. Like, the figure just holds it out and he takes it, right? This bizarre monster almost just gives him a potion. He just takes it, and you're like, what the fuck? Again, a very hallucinogenic kind of thing. Then it goes, blowing raspberries while the rats buried my tongue, my paper tigers in my lungs, abseiling, sodden with all the slime and pitch in your idiom. Through torpor, I'm tripping out on this concoction. This is basically the kid starting to die from this potion. I mean, this is like, literally, he drinks this potion and then begins seizing and falls to the ground and is rolling around, and he's having like a very bad trip. Imagine some kind of mythical poison eating away at your body and your mind and what that might do to you. Not any kind of poison we know about, not any kind of substance or material we know about, not any kind of experience we know about. Nothing that is human or earthly or anything. I mean, this is literally a hallucinogenic world, and he's hallucinating on this poison within that world. You can imagine the trip that this kid's going through. The paper tiger in the lungs line is, again, kind of representative of the paper tiger is the cigarette thing, the addiction. It's in his lungs. This potion, this poison is kind of supposed to represent the ammonia, acetone, and arsenic a little bit. That's sort of within him, and that's giving him this hallucinogenic experience, this trouble, this bizarreness, this feeling that is just of this world and of nothing else, right? Blowing raspberries while the rats buried my tongue, by the way. I love that line, and if anyone's ever played RuneScape, the old school shit, not fucking new shit, old school RuneScape, That line makes me think of fucking RuneScape every time. That's not why I wrote it or anything. I put it in there um, because it had a lot of that raspberries while the rats buried my tongue. It's got a lot of these noises that kind of fit with each other, this alliterative quality. Even whenever alliteration doesn't ba 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 ba, like everything doesn't have a B, I think alliteration can also be in sound, in the way things sound. I've talked a lot about people that do that before, like Zach Lill, the dude that writes for Saint Seneca. He does it where sometimes words aren't even like by definition alliterative, but he forms the sound of the word with his mouth to make them wow 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 sound the same. Like like even if it's not a B over and over that's happening, the words, I don't know how to explain it, but it's a sound thing. It's an alliterative sound and not necessarily an alliterative device, if that makes sense. But it makes me think of RuneScape every time because the blowing raspberries, that thing, and the rats, like the little level whatever, the little rats, the baby tiny rats, not even the big ones, just the tiny rats that would run in circles and then move around and then run in circles. Dude, it's insane. And then the last bit of the song, as this kid's dying, he's going through this trip off this potion from this character that gave it to him. I came and went. I smelled the scents. I rustled around a bit. I drank the potion, ate the dirt, and fell limp. And that's pretty much him cognitively saying now, oh, fuck. I came to this weird world. I walked the walk. I talked the talk. Fell down to the ground after this potion, and now I'm fucked. Walk the walk, talk the talk, now I'm fucked. See, that's almost kind of that alliterative, fucked is not alliterative with all that stuff. Walk the walk, talk the talk, fuck. It's not exactly the same thing, but if you shape the word the right way, I walk the walk, I talk the talk, and now I'm fucked. Like, you know what I mean? You can kind of shape the words to alliteratively align with each other a bit. Anyway, that's pretty much, I mean, that's it. The kid, so what's happening there is the unexplained part of the song. The kid sneaks around in his parents' room, finds some fucking cigarettes, goes up to his balcony, smoking a cigarette. In lieu of smoking the cigarette, he then takes too big of a hit and kind of makes himself dizzy, and he falls off the balcony. And then all of this kind of journey that this kid is going through in this world is literally while he's falling and he's kind of unconscious and he's falling from this balcony. It's a thing that in real life, and the events of it happening, would just take moments. This kid falls off a balcony, he's dead. But in his head, in his unconscious mind, but deep within his conscience, he's falling and he's hallucinating, but it gives you enough time for him to walk through this whole world. I mean, it's like a lot of things happening within that moment of him actually falling off the balcony and then splat and dying. And this is him chasing this paper tiger is like him chasing this cigarette to his death, and then he finds this character that has this mix, this potion of all these things put together, all these ingredients, like a cigarette with the ammonia, acetone, arsenic, and hundreds of other ingredients or whatever the fuck. It's this potion that the character then, the paper tiger leads him to this bizarre character, and the character gives him this bizarre potion, and not a lot is like said. It's just like, here's what's happening. This kid's hallucinating in this world. He's like, all right, I'm doing it. And he drinks this potion, and he fucking seizes up and has like a bad, awful trip, falls to the ground, fucking goes limp and dies. That's what the song is. So what parts of that are connected to Over the Garden Wall, you can, whether you've seen it or not, you can kind of come up with yourself, but especially if you've seen it, you can start maybe drawing some of those lines of, oh, so he took like this aspect of Over the Garden Wall, but then just made his own story out of it. It is also very Alice in Wonderland inspired. I don't think anything comes to mind whenever I'm thinking of specific inspirations for it. There's really a lot of Over the Garden Wall. Alice in Wonderland was sort of somewhat with the aesthetic of the world in my mind. I mean, but the idea is, yeah, whatever your addiction is and whatever thing you follow, it might be the thing that brings you to your fucked up end, Really bizarre, twisted story. Really great makeup work that my friend Shelby did. The potion, the just vignette effect on the photo, making my eyes look like black holes. I mean, like, all of this was just really fun to do. It was literally done on my phone, I think. and then I edited it with my phone, just with what my phone comes with. I didn't even get an app and do. There was not a lot of work put into the actual picture of it. It was the makeup in this vignette, in this effect, and that, like, it all just worked, and I was like, hell yeah. The makeup was where Shelby did shit, and I just kind of did more shit after to finish it, but the makeup was what did the work. I just had to put some photo together and post it, you know. Hell yeah, man. Super fucking cool song. One of the tops on the album for me. One of my top bizarre stories probably I've ever written, of these kind of one-off, like, this weird thing happened. Here's a weird story. Here's another one that has nothing to do with anything. It's just a weird story, like all these songs that I have like that, and this is one of my favorite and most bizarre ones, I think. So, yeah, man, that's pretty much it. I do want to point out, too, one of my most bizarre chord shapes, because I don't use it a lot, is in this song, too. I wanted to kind of point this out really quick. I do this thing where that's kind of what's going on. And what's happening a lot in just that is, like, it's a C minor chord, C sharp minor chord. But I kind of move that root note around a bunch to sort of shape the chord, and some of the other notes at the end fall in line with it too. Those notes that kind of change at the end too. But then there's a part in the song where I take that chord progression. That's like the intro and the outro, and that's kind of a good chunk of the substance of the chorus too. I do a thing in sort of the bridge part of it or whatever, right before, where I kind of change that up a bit. And I just love that riff. It's just one of my cooler kind of... I like to do a lot of pedal stuff where the chord will stay the same, but the root note moves around a lot. And the part that I'm talking about is this one. All the bells and whistles, folks. Hell yeah, it's a good time streaming today. I am going to try and do this stuff more often with the guitar, with the setup, with the playing the song and stuff from now on. Don't know if it's going to happen with everything, but we'll see. I hope it does. I just have to practice and make sure that I'm on top of the game and doing shit right. So, thanks for coming to Kick It. Thanks for just supporting not just this project, but me in general. Just if you ever have, fucking sick. I love to fuck around. I love to make weird shit. I love to make weird music. So if you support that at all and enjoy it, you're fucking cool. And for the rest of you, get cool and get with it, man, because weird shit's the best shit. The stream's been awesome today, guys. I will see you all later. Have a good Sunday. And remember, be cool.